23 black R&B legends who died alone and were forgotten. What happens when the applause fades, the crowds disappear, and a legendary voice is left with nothing but silence? Some of the greatest black R&B and soul artists created songs that millions still remember, yet their final years were marked by illness, isolation, financial hardship, and painful neglect. Behind every timeless record was a human being carrying struggles the public rarely saw. In this video, Golden Black Legends uncovers the emotional final chapters of 23 remarkable artists whose music helped shape generations, even as their names slowly vanished from the spotlight. Stay until the end, because several of these stories may completely change the way you hear their songs. Before we begin, subscribe, like this video, and tell us in the comments which forgotten black music legend deserves to be honored again. David Ruffin. David Ruffin possessed one of the most unforgettable voices in soul music, yet his final years stood in heartbreaking contrast to the fame he once enjoyed. As the iconic lead singer of The Temptations during their golden era, Ruffin helped transform the group into Motown royalty. His passionate tenor powered timeless classics like My Girl Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Beauty Is Only Skin Deep, and I Wish It Would Rain. His voice conveyed both strength and vulnerability, making him one of the defining sounds of 1960s American music. Born in rural Mississippi in 1941, Ruffin was introduced to gospel music through his family before pursuing a career in Detroit. After joining The Temptations in 1964, he quickly became the group's standout performer. However, enormous success also brought growing personal challenges. Increasing conflicts within the group, struggles with drug addiction, and a demanding lifestyle eventually led to his dismissal from The Temptations in 1968. Although he launched a solo career and later reunited with former bandmates for tours and special performances, he never fully recaptured the extraordinary success of his Motown years. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Ruffin continued performing despite ongoing battles with addiction and financial difficulties. Friends and fellow musicians never questioned his talent, often describing him as one of the greatest soul vocalists of all time. His influence could still be heard in generations of singers who admired his emotional delivery and commanding stage presence. On June 1, 1991, David Ruffin died at the age of 50 in Philadelphia after suffering an accidental drug overdose. His passing marked a tragic end to a remarkable career, but it never erased his musical legacy. Today, his recordings continue to inspire audiences around the world. David Ruffin's story is both a celebration of extraordinary artistic brilliance and a sobering reminder that even the brightest stars can quietly struggle behind the curtain long after the applause has faded. Major Lance. Major Lance was once one of the brightest stars of Chicago soul, but the final years of his life unfolded far from the excitement that had once surrounded his name. During the 1960s, his energetic performances and warm smile made him a favorite among R&B fans. Backed by producer Curtis Mayfield and songwriter Curtis Mayfield's creative circle, Lance delivered memorable hits including The Monkey Time, and Rhythm. His upbeat style and effortless charm helped define an important chapter of classic soul music. Born in Mississippi in 1939 and raised in Chicago, Lance discovered music at an early age while growing up in one of America's most influential musical cities. By the mid-1960s, he had become a regular presence on the Billboard charts and toured alongside many of the era's biggest performers. However, changing musical trends gradually pushed traditional soul aside as funk and disco rose in popularity. Record sales declined, major opportunities disappeared, and financial hardships became increasingly difficult to overcome. Despite these setbacks, Lance never abandoned music completely. He continued performing in smaller venues across the United States and Europe, where loyal fans still appreciated the songs that had made him famous. Unfortunately, years of health problems, including heart disease, limited his ability to perform regularly. His later life became much quieter than the remarkable career that had once seemed unstoppable. Major Lance died on September 3, 1994 at the age of 55 after complications related to heart disease. Although his passing received far less attention than many of his contemporaries, his influence on soul music never disappeared. Songs like The Monkey Time remain enduring examples of the joyful energy that defined the golden age of Chicago soul. His story reminds us that commercial success can fade with time, but genuine musical talent continues to inspire long after the headlines have ended. Today, Major Lance deserves to be remembered not only for his chart success, but also for the lasting happiness his music continues to bring to listeners around the world. Jesse Belvin. Jesse Belvin possessed one of the smoothest voices of the 1950s, and many music historians believe he had the potential to become one of the greatest soul singers of his generation. Long before soul music reached its commercial peak, Belvin was already blending rhythm and blues with elegant vocal phrasing that influenced countless performers who followed. His recordings, including Goodnight My Love and Guess Who, revealed remarkable emotional depth and established him as one of the most gifted singers of his era. Born in Texas in 1932 and raised in Los Angeles, Belvin began singing in church before entering the rapidly growing West Coast R&B scene. Beyond his success as a performer, he became an accomplished songwriter contributing to numerous recordings for other artists. His reputation within the music industry grew steadily, and by the late 1950s, he was viewed as one of the brightest rising stars in black popular music. One of the most significant moments of his career came in February 1960 when he performed at a racially integrated concert in Little Rock, Arkansas, during a period of intense racial tension in the American South. After the performance, Belvin, his wife Joanne, and their driver began the journey home. Tragically, their car crashed near Hope, Arkansas. Jesse and his wife both died from their injuries, while questions surrounding the circumstances of the accident persisted for years. Although various theories have circulated, no conclusive evidence has ever proven that the crash resulted from anything other than the official findings. Jesse Belvin died on February 6, 1960, at only 27 years old, cutting short a career filled with extraordinary promise. Because his life ended so early later, generations often overlooked his remarkable contributions to R&B and early soul music. Yet musicians and historians continue to recognize him as an artist whose elegant style helped shape the genre. His legacy lives on through recordings that still demonstrate the beauty, warmth, and emotional honesty of his unforgettable voice. Syl Johnson. Syl Johnson built a remarkable career by refusing to compromise his musical identity. Blending soul, blues, funk, and gospel into a sound entirely his own, he became one of the most respected voices in Black American music. Although he never achieved the mainstream commercial success enjoyed by some of his contemporaries, Johnson earned lasting admiration for emotionally honest songs such as Is It Because I'm Black, Different Strokes, and Take Me to the River. His recordings later became some of the most sampled works in hip-hop history, introducing his music to entirely new generations. Born in Mississippi in 1936 before moving to Chicago, Johnson grew up surrounded by blues traditions that shaped his distinctive vocal style. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, he recorded for Twilight Records and High Records, creating music that addressed love, heartbreak, racial injustice, and everyday struggles with uncommon sincerity. His socially conscious song, Is It Because I'm Black, became an enduring reflection of the challenges faced by African Americans during the civil rights era. Johnson also became a determined advocate for musicians' rights after discovering that many artists had used samples of his recordings without proper compensation. His legal efforts helped raise awareness about copyright protection and fair payment for original creators, making an impact far beyond his own career. On February 6, 2022, Syl Johnson died at the age of 85 after battling illness. His passing marked the end of a career spanning more than 6 decades, yet his influence remains deeply woven into modern music. Artists across soul, R&B, and hip-hop continue to draw inspiration from his recordings, while producers still recognize the timeless quality of his grooves. Rather than measuring his success by chart positions alone, Syl Johnson should be remembered as an artist who remained authentic throughout changing musical eras. His songs carried powerful messages, genuine emotion, and unmistakable craftsmanship. Today, his legacy stands as proof that true influence is not always measured by fame, but by the generations of musicians whose work continues to echo the sound of his remarkable voice. O.V. Wright. O.V. Wright never became a household name like some of his soul contemporaries, yet few singers could match the emotional intensity he poured into every performance. His powerful blend of gospel and southern soul gave songs such as Ace of Spades, A Nickel and a Nail, and 8 Men, 4 Women, an honesty that resonated deeply with listeners. Every lyric sounded lived rather than performed, making Wright one of the most respected voices to emerge from Memphis's legendary soul scene. Born in Tennessee in 1939, Overton Vertis Wright began singing in church with the Harmony Echoes gospel group before moving into secular music during the 1960s. Signed to Backbeat Records under producer Don Roby, he quickly earned praise for his passionate vocals, often drawing comparisons to Otis Redding while maintaining a style entirely his own. Despite critical acclaim and a loyal fan base, Wright never enjoyed the widespread commercial success many believed he deserved. Personal struggles, including legal troubles and substance abuse, interrupted the momentum of his career, although he later returned to performing with renewed determination. Throughout the late 1970s, Wright continued recording and touring despite declining health. Years of relentless performances and personal hardships gradually took their toll, but he rarely abandoned the stage. His commitment to music remained unwavering even as opportunities became less frequent and public attention shifted toward newer artists. On November 16, 1980, O.V. Wright died of a heart attack at only 41 years old. His passing brought a sudden end to one of Southern soul's most remarkable voices. Although his funeral received little national attention, fellow musicians recognized the enormous influence he left behind. His recordings have since been rediscovered by collectors, blues enthusiasts, and younger generations of soul fans who appreciate the raw sincerity that defined his music. O.V. Wright's story reminds us that lasting artistic greatness is not always measured by chart positions. Sometimes the most unforgettable voices belong to those whose music quietly continues touching hearts long after the spotlight has faded. Chuck Willis. Chuck Willis was one of the architects of modern rhythm and blues, helping shape the sound that would later influence both soul and early rock and roll. Nicknamed the King of the Stroll because of the dance craze inspired by his music, Willis combined smooth vocals with clever songwriting to produce classics, including Sea Rider, It's Too Late, What Am I Living For, and Hang Up My Rock and Roll Shoes. His relaxed delivery and emotional storytelling earned him widespread admiration during the 1950s. Born in Georgia, in 1926, Willis began performing while still a teenager before signing with Atlantic Records, where his career flourished. Unlike many singers who relied solely on vocal ability, he also wrote much of his own material, giving his recordings a distinctive personality. His signature turban became part of his public image, making him instantly recognizable wherever he performed. By the late 1950s, he had established himself as one of the leading figures in rhythm and blues. Despite his growing success, Willis struggled with recurring stomach ulcers that became increasingly severe. Determined not to disappoint audiences, he often continued working despite intense pain. That dedication came at a terrible cost. On April 10, 1958, Chuck Willis died from complications caused by internal bleeding following ulcer surgery. He was only 30 years old, cutting short a career that still held enormous promise. His death shocked the music industry, but because his life ended so early later, generations often overlooked his influence. Nevertheless, his songs continued to be recorded by countless artists, while CC Rider became one of the most frequently covered songs in American popular music. Chuck Willis may not receive the same recognition as some of his contemporaries today, but his contributions remain woven into the foundation of rhythm and blues. His remarkable songwriting, distinctive voice, and pioneering spirit continue to remind music lovers that true innovation often comes from artists whose names deserve far greater recognition. Johnny Adams. Johnny Adams possessed one of the most extraordinary voices in American music, blending soul, gospel, jazz, and blues with astonishing elegance. Often called the Tan Canary because of his remarkable vocal range, Adams delivered performances filled with grace, warmth, and emotional precision. Although he never achieved major commercial stardom, musicians and critics consistently regarded him as one of the finest singers of his generation. Songs such as Release Me, Reconsider Me, and After All the Good Is Gone showcased a voice capable of expressing both tenderness and heartbreak with effortless beauty. Born in New Orleans in 1932, Adams grew up immersed in gospel music before gradually moving into rhythm and blues. Unlike many artists chasing commercial trends, he remained committed to musical quality throughout his career. His recordings reflected influences from blues, jazz, and traditional Southern soul, creating a distinctive sound that refused to fit neatly into a single category. That artistic independence earned him lifelong respect, even if it limited mainstream commercial success. During the 1980s and 1990s, Adams experienced a remarkable artistic revival through collaborations with Rounder Records. Albums such as Walking on a Tightrope and Good Morning Heartache introduced his timeless voice to new audiences and earned widespread critical acclaim. Even as younger musical styles dominated the charts, Adams continued performing with remarkable consistency, proving that genuine artistry never loses its value. Johnny Adams died on September 14, 1998 at the age of 66 after battling prostate cancer. His passing marked the loss of one of New Orleans' greatest musical treasures. While his death did not generate the headlines given to larger commercial stars, fellow artists praised him as a singer's singer whose technical brilliance and emotional honesty were almost unmatched. Today, his recordings continue to inspire vocalists across soul, blues, and jazz. Johnny Adams's legacy reminds us that true greatness is not always measured by record sales, but by the lasting admiration earned from those who understand exceptional music. Little Willie John. Little Willie John achieved extraordinary success before reaching adulthood, becoming one of rhythm and blues' brightest young stars during the 1950s. Blessed with a remarkably mature voice, despite his small stature, he captivated audiences with unforgettable hits, including Fever Talk to Me, Need Your Love, So Bad, and All Around the World. His passionate singing influenced generations of artists, including Marvin Gaye, James Brown, and Al Green, establishing him as one of the most important early voices in soul music. Born in Arkansas in 1937 and raised in Detroit, Willie John displayed exceptional musical talent from childhood. He signed with King Records while still a teenager and quickly became one of the label's biggest stars. His emotionally charged performances combined gospel intensity with rhythm and blues sophistication, creating a style that helped bridge the gap between traditional R&B and the emerging soul movement. Despite his remarkable achievements, personal problems increasingly overshadowed his career as alcohol abuse and legal troubles became more serious. In 1964, Willie John was convicted of manslaughter following a fatal altercation and sentenced to prison. While incarcerated, his health deteriorated rapidly. He suffered from untreated liver disease and other medical complications that received inadequate attention behind bars. On May 26, 1968, little Willie John died in prison at only 30 years old from complications related to pneumonia, while also suffering from advanced liver disease. His death ended one of the most promising careers in early rhythm and blues. Although his life was tragically short, his influence never disappeared. Fever became an international standard after being recorded by numerous artists, while many soul legends acknowledged the profound impact of his vocal style. Today, little Willie John is remembered not only for his extraordinary talent, but also as a cautionary example of how personal struggles can derail even the brightest careers. His remarkable voice remains one of the enduring treasures of classic Black American music. Arthur Alexander. Arthur Alexander quietly changed the course of popular music, even though his name never achieved the worldwide recognition enjoyed by many artists he influenced. His heartfelt blend of country rhythm and blues and soul created a sound that inspired legends including the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, and Elvis Presley. Songs such as You Better Move on Anna, Go to Him and Every Day I Have to Cry showcased a gentle, deeply emotional vocal style that would shape generations of performers. Born in Sheffield, Alabama in 1940, Alexander grew up singing gospel before recording secular music at nearby Muscle Shoals. His breakthrough came in the early 1960s when his recordings crossed racial and musical boundaries, earning praise from both R&B and country audiences. While his songwriting gained enormous respect, commercial success proved difficult to sustain. As musical tastes shifted, recording opportunities became increasingly scarce, forcing Alexander to step away from the spotlight. Rather than continuing a struggling music career, he worked ordinary jobs, including driving a bus and later working for a social services agency, living a quiet life far removed from the fame his songs deserved. Yet his influence never disappeared. Throughout the following decades, major artists continued recording his compositions, keeping his music alive even as his own name faded from public attention. In the early 1990s, Alexander finally appeared ready for a remarkable comeback. He signed a new recording contract and completed the critically acclaimed album Lonely Just Like Me, introducing his timeless voice to a new audience. Sadly, only weeks after the album's release, he suffered a fatal heart attack on June 9, 1993 at the age of 53. Arthur Alexander never became the global superstar. His talent warranted, but his legacy reaches far beyond record sales. His songwriting helped bridge country and soul music while influencing some of the greatest musicians in history. His life reminds us that true greatness is not always measured by fame, but by the lasting impact an artist leaves on those who follow. King Floyd. King Floyd experienced the kind of overnight success that many musicians dream about, yet maintaining that momentum proved far more difficult. Best remembered for the infectious 1970 hit Groove Me Floyd, briefly became one of the brightest voices in Southern soul. The song climbed to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold more than 1 million copies, earning a gold certification and securing his place in R&B history. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana in 1945, Floyd spent years performing in local clubs before receiving his breakthrough opportunity with Chimneyville Records. His warm, conversational singing style perfectly matched the relaxed groove of Southern soul, and Groove Me quickly became one of the defining songs of the early 1970s. However, despite releasing additional recordings, none achieved the same commercial impact. As musical trends evolved, Floyd gradually disappeared from the national spotlight. Unlike many stars who completely abandoned music, Floyd continued writing and recording whenever opportunities arose. He remained deeply connected to the New Orleans music community, although major labels and radio stations increasingly focused on younger artists. Health problems eventually added new challenges, including diabetes and complications from high blood pressure that affected his quality of life. King Floyd died on March 6, 2006 at the age of 61 after suffering a stroke. His passing received relatively modest media attention despite the enormous influence of Groove Me, a song that continues to be celebrated by soul fans and frequently appears in films, television programs, and classic R&B playlists. Although his career produced only one major crossover hit, Floyd's contribution to Southern soul remains significant. His music captured the relaxed spirit of New Orleans while demonstrating that one unforgettable recording can outlive decades of changing musical fashions. Today, Groove Me continues introducing new generations to King Floyd's distinctive voice, ensuring that his legacy remains firmly rooted in the history of classic American soul music. Don Covay was one of the rare artists whose influence extended far beyond his own recordings. A gifted singer-songwriter and performer, he helped shape the sound of rhythm and blues and soul for more than 5 decades. While audiences recognized songs like Mercy Mercy and Seesaw, countless listeners were unaware that Covay also wrote enduring classics for some of the biggest names in music, leaving an extraordinary legacy behind the scenes. Born in South Carolina in 1936, Covay began singing gospel before moving into rhythm and blues during the 1950s. His career flourished not only because of his powerful voice, but also because of his exceptional songwriting ability. He penned Chain of Fools, which became one of Aretha Franklin's signature hits and earned worldwide acclaim. His compositions were later recorded by artists including Wilson Pickett, the Rolling Stones' Otis Redding, and countless others, making him one of soul music's most respected creative forces. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Covay continued recording and writing despite receiving far less public attention than many performers who benefited from his work. Health problems gradually slowed his career after he suffered a stroke in the early 1990s, limiting his ability to perform. Nevertheless, he remained deeply connected to music and continued inspiring younger songwriters through his remarkable catalog. Don Covay died on January 31, 2015 at the age of 67 after years of declining health. Although his passing did not dominate headlines, musicians across multiple genres paid tribute to a man whose creativity had shaped countless classic recordings. Today, Don Covay deserves recognition not only as an accomplished performer, but also as one of the greatest songwriters in soul music history. His ability to combine heartfelt storytelling with unforgettable melodies allowed other artists to shine while quietly building one of the richest catalogs in American music. His legacy proves that some of the most influential figures in entertainment often create their greatest masterpieces behind the microphone rather than standing in front of it. Jackie Moore earned her place in soul music history with a voice that blended power, elegance, and emotional honesty. During the early 1970s, she became one of the defining female voices of Southern soul, captivating audiences with heartfelt performances that celebrated love, resilience, and independence. Her biggest success came with Precious Precious, which became a top 30 pop hit and reached #1 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1970, establishing her as one of the genre's rising stars. Born in Jacksonville, Florida in 1946, Moore discovered music at an early age through church and local performances. After signing with Atlantic Records, her career quickly gained momentum as her expressive vocals resonated with listeners across the United States. Throughout the decade, she continued recording songs that reflected the rich tradition of Southern soul, earning admiration from fellow musicians even when commercial success became more difficult to maintain. As musical styles evolved during the late 1970s and 1980s, Moore gradually stepped away from the national spotlight. Unlike many artists who actively pursued constant publicity, she chose a quieter life while remaining connected to music and occasionally performing for devoted audiences. Though her name became less familiar to younger generations, collectors and soul enthusiasts continued celebrating her recordings as overlooked gems of classic R&B. Jackie Moore died on November 8, 2019 at the age of 73 after a long battle with health problems. While her passing received limited mainstream coverage, fans and fellow musicians remembered her as one of the finest female soul singers to emerge from Florida during the golden era of rhythm and blues. Today, Jackie Moore's recordings continue to remind listeners of a remarkable talent whose voice conveyed sincerity and warmth without relying on theatrical performance. Her career stands as a testament to the enduring beauty of classic soul music and to the countless artists whose contributions remain deeply respected even when history has not always given them the widespread recognition they truly deserve. Billy Stewart. Billy Stewart possessed one of the most distinctive voices of the 1960s, blending jazz-inspired improvisation with rhythm and blues in a style that no one else could duplicate. His playful vocal runs, rapid-fire phrasing, and effortless control transformed familiar melodies into unforgettable performances. Songs such as "Sitting in the Park, I Do Love You" and his unforgettable interpretation of Summertime established Stewart as one of the most original artists of his generation. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1937, Stewart developed his musical talents by singing in church alongside his siblings, before attracting the attention of legendary producer Billy Davis. After signing with Chess Records, he quickly became one of the label's brightest stars. Unlike many R&B singers of the era, Stewart brought elements of jazz, gospel, and vocal improvisation into mainstream soul, creating a sound that influenced countless performers who followed. His recordings demonstrated both technical brilliance and emotional warmth, earning admiration from fellow musicians even when critics struggled to categorize his unique style. By the late 1960s, Stewart remained an active performer with every indication that his career would continue growing. Tragically, those plans ended on January 17, 1970, when the car carrying Stewart and members of his band lost control on Interstate 95 near North Carolina before plunging into the Neuse River. Stewart and 3 companions were killed in the crash. He was only 32 years old. His sudden death robbed soul music of one of its most innovative voices just as he was entering his artistic prime. Although later generations often remember only a handful of his recordings, his influence extends far beyond his chart success. His fearless vocal experimentation inspired singers across soul, jazz, and R&B for decades afterward. Billy Stewart proved that originality could become a signature all its own. Today, his remarkable recordings continue to demonstrate that genuine creativity never grows old, ensuring that his extraordinary voice remains an essential part of classic American soul music. ZZ Hill. ZZ Hill became one of the defining voices of modern soul blues by combining traditional Southern blues with contemporary R&B influences. His rich, expressive vocals captured the realities of love, heartbreak, and perseverance, allowing listeners to connect deeply with every performance. Throughout a career spanning more than 2 decades, Hill earned enormous respect for songs such as Down Home Blues, Love Is So Good, When You're Stealing It, and Cheatin' in the Next Room, helping revive blues music during a period when many believed the genre had lost its commercial appeal. Born Arzell J. Hill in Naples, Texas in 1935, he grew up surrounded by gospel and blues traditions before launching his professional career in the early 1960s. After recording for several labels, Hill finally reached widespread recognition during the 1980s through Malaco Records. His landmark album, Down Home Blues, became one of the best-selling blues albums of its era, proving there was still a devoted audience for authentic Southern soul. Rather than chasing musical trends, Hill remained committed to heartfelt storytelling and timeless melodies. Despite his renewed success, Hill continued working tirelessly, spending long periods touring across the United States to perform for loyal fans. Years of constant travel eventually took a toll on his health. On April 27, 1984, after finishing a performance in Texas, Hill suffered a heart attack while driving home and died shortly afterward. He was 48 years old. Although his career ended unexpectedly, Z. Hill left behind a remarkable legacy that transformed the future of blues music. His recordings inspired a new generation of Southern soul artists while helping preserve traditional blues for modern audiences. Today, his songs continue to receive regular airplay on blues radio stations and remain favorites among fans who appreciate honest storytelling delivered with extraordinary emotional power. Z. Hill's voice still reminds listeners that the greatest soul music is often born from life's most authentic experiences. Doris Troy. Doris Troy possessed a voice powerful enough to cross the boundaries of soul, gospel, pop, and rock, making her one of the most versatile singers of the 1960s. Best known for her international hit, Just One Look, Troy combined emotional sincerity with remarkable vocal control, earning admiration from audiences on both sides of the Atlantic. Although she never enjoyed decades of commercial superstardom, her influence reached far beyond her own recordings through songwriting, studio work, and collaborations with some of music's biggest names. Born Doris Payne in New York City in 1937, she began singing gospel before moving into rhythm and blues. Her breakthrough arrived in 1963 with Just One Look, a song she co-wrote that became a major hit in both the United States and the United Kingdom. As her reputation grew, Troy worked alongside legendary artists including George Harrison, Pink Floyd, Dusty Springfield, and the Rolling Stones. Her ability to adapt effortlessly to different musical styles made her one of the industry's most respected session vocalists. Although changing musical trends eventually reduced her commercial visibility, Troy never stopped contributing to music. She continued writing, recording, and mentoring younger artists while maintaining the humility that colleagues consistently praised throughout her career. Unlike many performers driven by fame alone, she remained dedicated to artistic excellence rather than public attention. Doris Troy died on February 16, 2004, at the age of 67 after battling emphysema. While her passing received less attention than many chart-topping stars, musicians around the world recognized the tremendous impact she had made over 4 decades of recording. Her songs continue to inspire soul lovers, while Just One Look remains one of the defining classics of early soul music. Doris Troy's legacy reminds us that some artists shape music not only through hit records, but also through quiet dedication behind the scenes. Her extraordinary voice, songwriting talent, and generous spirit continue to influence generations of performers, ensuring that her remarkable contribution to Black music history will never truly fade. Melvin Bliss. Melvin Bliss achieved something few musicians ever accomplish, creating a recording that would influence generations of artists across entirely different genres. Although his commercial career remained relatively brief, his 1973 single Synthetic Substitution became one of the most sampled recordings in hip-hop history. Its unforgettable drum break has appeared in hundreds of songs by artists ranging from De La Soul and Public Enemy to Ultramagnetic MCS, making Bliss an unlikely pioneer whose influence extended far beyond traditional soul music. Born in New York City in 1944, Bliss pursued a career as both a singer and songwriter during the early 1970s. While he never achieved sustained mainstream success, Synthetic Substitution quietly developed a second life after DJs and producers discovered its unique rhythm. As hip-hop emerged during the late 1970s and 1980s, the recording became a favorite source for sampling, helping shape the sound of an entirely new musical movement. Ironically, many listeners recognized the beat without ever knowing the name of the artist who originally created it. Unlike performers who remained constantly in the spotlight, Bliss lived a private life away from major media attention. He rarely sought publicity, allowing his music to speak for itself. Even as his recording became increasingly influential, his personal story remained largely unknown outside dedicated music circles. Melvin Bliss died on August 28, 2014 at the age of 70. Although his passing attracted relatively little mainstream coverage, producers, DJs, and hip-hop historians acknowledged the enormous contribution he had made to modern music. His work demonstrated that one inspired recording could continue shaping popular culture decades after its release. Today, synthetic substitution remains one of the most recognizable drum breaks ever recorded. Melvin Bliss may never have enjoyed widespread celebrity, but his influence echoes through thousands of recordings that followed. His remarkable legacy proves that an artist's greatest achievement is sometimes measured not by fame, but by the lasting impact their creativity leaves on future generations. Nolan Porter. Nolan Porter never became a household name, yet among dedicated soul music fans, his recordings are considered hidden treasures. With his smooth vocals, uplifting messages, and rich blend of soul and funk, Porter created music that has only grown more appreciated with time. Songs such as "If I Could Only Be Sure" and "Keep On Keeping On" showcased not only his impressive vocal range, but also his gift for delivering hope and resilience through music. While commercial success largely escaped him during his career, his artistry found a devoted audience that has continued to expand long after his passing. Born in Los Angeles, California in 1949, Porter entered the music industry during the early 1970s, recording for ABC Records. His voice possessed warmth and sincerity, yet changing musical trends and limited promotion prevented him from achieving the mainstream recognition many believed he deserved. Although his records failed to become major American hits, they found a second life overseas. In particular, the British Northern Soul movement embraced his music, turning songs like "If I Could Only Be Sure" into dance floor classics cherished by collectors and DJs for decades. Unlike many artists who walked away after commercial disappointment, Porter remained passionate about music. He continued writing, recording, and occasionally performing while maintaining a quiet life away from the spotlight. In later years, he expressed gratitude that younger listeners were discovering his work through reissues and online platforms, giving his music the appreciation it had long deserved. Nolan Porter died on February 4, 2021, at the age of 71 after battling cancer. Although his death received relatively little mainstream attention, tributes poured in from soul collectors, musicians, and Northern Soul communities around the world. His legacy proves that an artist's true value is not always measured by chart positions. Today, Nolan Porter's recordings continue inspiring new generations, reminding listeners that sincere songwriting and genuine soul never lose their ability to move the human heart. Johnny Guitar Watson. Johnny Guitar Watson was one of the most innovative musicians to emerge from American rhythm and blues. Throughout a career spanning more than 4 decades, he successfully blended blues, soul-funk, and R&B while influencing artists from Jimi Hendrix to Snoop Dogg. Known for his dazzling guitar skills, charismatic stage presence, and witty songwriting, Watson constantly reinvented himself without losing the distinctive style that made him a legend. Born John Watson Jr. in Houston, Texas, in 1935, he began playing guitar as a child before moving to Los Angeles, where his professional career flourished during the 1950s. Early recordings, such as "Gangster of Love," established his reputation as both a gifted guitarist and an entertaining performer. During the 1970s, Watson enjoyed a remarkable comeback by embracing funk with hits, including "A Real Mother," "For Ya Superman Lover," and "I Need It." His music appealed to both traditional blues fans and younger audiences, allowing him to remain relevant through changing musical eras. Watson's influence extended far beyond his own recordings. His guitar techniques inspired countless musicians, while his funk grooves and lyrical style were later sampled by hip-hop artists around the world. Despite his enormous impact, he remained dedicated to live performance, continuing to tour internationally well into his later years. On May 17, 1996, Johnny Guitar Watson suffered a fatal heart attack immediately after finishing a concert in Yokohama, Japan. He died at the age of 61, passing away only moments after doing what he loved most, performing for an audience. His sudden death shocked the music world, but his remarkable legacy has never faded. Today, Johnny Guitar Watson is remembered as one of the most creative and influential figures in Black American music. His fearless experimentation helped bridge blues, soul, funk, and modern R&B, leaving behind a catalog that continues to inspire musicians across multiple generations. Joe Tex. Joe Tex built his career on honesty, humor, and unmatched stage charisma. Unlike many soul singers who specialized in romantic ballads, Tex connected with audiences through conversational storytelling, energetic performances, and songs that reflected everyday life with warmth and wit. Hits such as Hold What You've Got, Skinny Legs, and All Show Me and I Gotcha made him one of the defining voices of Southern soul during the 1960s and 1970s. Born Joseph Arrington Jr. in Rogers, Texas in 1935, Tex began singing gospel before moving into rhythm and blues. After years of persistence, he finally achieved national success with Hold What You've Got in 1965. His unique delivery, often mixing spoken word passages with soulful singing, set him apart from every other artist of his era. Beyond commercial success, he became known for his dynamic concerts, where humor and audience interaction were just as important as the music itself. As musical tastes changed, Tex gradually stepped away from the spotlight. During the late 1970s, he devoted much of his time to his faith after converting to Islam, reducing his recording schedule while focusing on family and personal beliefs. Although less visible in the entertainment industry, his influence remained evident among soul performers who admired his originality and authentic storytelling. Joe Tex died suddenly of a heart attack on August 13, 1982, at the age of 47 while visiting his hometown in Texas. His unexpected passing brought an abrupt end to a career that had entertained audiences for nearly 3 decades. Although his death received less attention than some of his contemporaries, his contributions to soul music remain undeniable. Today, Joe Tex is remembered as one of the genre's most distinctive personalities. His recordings continue to showcase a performer who combined humor, honesty, and emotional depth in ways few artists could match. His legacy reminds us that individuality often leaves the strongest impression long after trends have disappeared. Rosco Robinson. Rosco Robinson dedicated his life to music long before fame ever arrived. Equally respected in gospel and soul circles, Robinson possessed a powerful voice that carried deep emotion and unwavering sincerity. Although he never achieved widespread commercial stardom, his influence within Black American music remains significant, particularly among listeners who appreciated artists capable of moving effortlessly between sacred and secular traditions. Born in Detroit, Michigan in 1928, Robinson first gained recognition as a member of several celebrated gospel groups, including the famous Ward Singers and the Five Royals. His rich baritone and commanding delivery earned admiration throughout the gospel community before he successfully transitioned into rhythm and blues during the late 1960s. His biggest hit, That's Enough, reached the Billboard R&B Top 10 in 1969 and introduced his remarkable voice to a broader audience. Unlike many performers chasing constant chart success, Robinson focused on musical integrity. Throughout the following decades, he continued recording both gospel and soul, remaining active despite receiving limited attention from mainstream media. His ability to communicate genuine faith, hope, and human emotion allowed his recordings to retain their timeless appeal long after their original release. Rosco Robinson died on July 22, 1993, at the age of 64 after battling illness. While his passing attracted little national publicity, fellow musicians and gospel communities remembered him as a gifted vocalist whose contributions extended far beyond commercial recognition. His career demonstrated remarkable versatility, successfully bridging two important musical traditions without sacrificing authenticity. Today, Rosco Robinson deserves greater recognition as one of the overlooked voices of classic black music. His recordings continue to inspire gospel singers, soul enthusiasts, and historians who recognize the lasting importance of artists whose careers were built on substance rather than celebrity. Though he rarely occupied the spotlight, Rosco Robinson's legacy lives on through the honesty of his voice and the quiet dignity that defined his remarkable musical journey. Jimmy Witherspoon. Jimmy Witherspoon built one of the longest and most respected careers in American blues and rhythm and blues, earning admiration for a voice that carried warmth, grit, and emotional honesty. Nicknamed Spoon, he became known for blending blues, jazz, and R&B into a deeply expressive style that appealed to audiences across generations. His signature recording, Ain't Nobody's Business, became a landmark hit in 1949, launching a career that would span nearly 5 decades and establish him as one of the most influential blues vocalists of the 20th century. Born in Gurdon, Arkansas in 1920 and raised in Los Angeles, Witherspoon grew up surrounded by gospel and blues traditions. His breakthrough came after joining Jay McShann's orchestra, where his rich conversational delivery immediately captured listeners' attention. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, he recorded extensively, performing alongside jazz legends and blues pioneers while building a reputation as one of the finest interpreters of emotionally driven songs. Unlike many performers who chased commercial trends, Witherspoon remained faithful to authentic blues storytelling. Even as musical tastes shifted, he continued touring throughout the United States and Europe, earning loyal audiences who appreciated his timeless artistry. In his later years, however, declining health limited his performances. He suffered from throat cancer and other medical complications that gradually forced him away from the stage he loved. Jimmy Witherspoon died on September 18, 1997, at the age of 76 in Los Angeles after a long illness. His passing received only modest mainstream attention despite a career that had profoundly influenced blues and jazz singers around the world. Yet among musicians, his contribution has never been forgotten. Today, Jimmy Witherspoon is remembered as an artist whose voice reflected genuine life experience rather than polished perfection. His recordings continue to inspire blues lovers, proving that sincerity often leaves a deeper impression than commercial fame. His remarkable career stands as a lasting reminder that some of the greatest storytellers in American music quietly shaped history without always receiving the recognition they truly deserved. Johnny Copeland. Johnny Copeland spent more than 4 decades proving that authentic blues never goes out of style. Combining Texas blues with soul gospel and rhythm and blues, he developed a powerful sound that balanced fiery guitar work with passionate vocals. Although he never achieved the commercial fame of some of his contemporaries, Copeland earned enormous respect among musicians for his technical skill, emotional performances, and unwavering dedication to traditional Black American music. Born in Haynesville, Louisiana in 1937 and raised in Houston, Texas, Copeland was inspired by blues giants such as T-Bone Walker and Clarence Gatemouth Brown. During the 1950s and 1960s, he performed in clubs throughout Texas before relocating to New York, where his career gained new momentum. Albums like Bringin' It All Back Home and Texas Twister showcased his ability to blend classic blues with modern influences while preserving the emotional honesty that defined his music. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, Copeland enjoyed renewed recognition, winning several Blues Music Awards and a Grammy Award for his contribution to Showdown alongside Albert Collins and Robert Cray. Despite these achievements, he remained humble, focusing on live performances rather than celebrity status. Fans admired him not only for his guitar playing, but also for his powerful storytelling and commanding stage presence. Johnny Copeland died on July 3, 1997, at the age of 60 after complications from heart disease following a heart transplant. His death saddened blues communities worldwide, ending a career devoted to preserving one of America's greatest musical traditions. Today, Johnny Copeland's recordings continue inspiring guitarists and blues singers around the globe. His music demonstrates that technical brilliance means little without emotional truth. By remaining authentic throughout changing musical eras, Copeland left behind a legacy built on passion, perseverance, and extraordinary musicianship. His influence continues to resonate wherever blues music is played, ensuring that his remarkable artistry will never be forgotten. Eddie Hinton. Eddie Hinton possessed extraordinary talent as both a singer and songwriter, yet his remarkable contributions to Southern soul remained largely hidden behind the success of the artists he helped create. Known throughout the legendary Muscle Shoals music scene, Hinton wrote, arranged and played guitar on countless classic recordings, while earning the admiration of fellow musicians who considered him one of the finest creative minds of his generation. Born in Jacksonville, Florida, in 1944 and raised in Alabama, Hinton became deeply involved with the Muscle Shoals recording community during the 1960s. His songwriting credits included collaborations with artists such as Percy Sledge Wilson Pickett and Aretha Franklin, while his guitar work appeared on numerous landmark soul recordings. Despite his immense talent, Hinton struggled to establish himself as a solo performer. His deeply emotional voice and honest songwriting won critical praise, but commercial success remained frustratingly limited. Behind the scenes, Hinton battled serious personal challenges, including mental health struggles and substance abuse, which interrupted his career and prevented him from reaching the level of recognition many believed he deserved. Even during difficult periods, fellow musicians continued to praise his extraordinary gift for writing heartfelt songs filled with vulnerability and emotional depth. In the early 1990s, Hinton experienced a modest artistic revival after returning to recording and performing. Critics celebrated albums such as Letters from Mississippi, recognizing the brilliance that had always existed beneath years of hardship. Tragically, that comeback was cut short when Eddie Hinton died from heart failure on July 28, 1995 at the age of 51. Although he never became a major commercial star, Eddie Hinton left an enduring mark on Southern soul music. His songwriting, guitar playing, and deeply expressive vocals continue to influence musicians who value authenticity over fame. Today, he is remembered as one of Muscle Shoals' greatest unsung heroes, an artist whose immense talent quietly enriched American music and whose legacy has grown stronger with every passing generation. As we come to the end of this journey, one question still lingers: were these legends truly forgotten, or have we simply stopped telling their stories? Behind every unforgettable song was a human being who experienced triumph, heartbreak, sacrifice, and for some, a painfully lonely farewell. Their voices shaped generations, but their final chapters remind us that fame is never a guarantee of comfort or lasting recognition. Which story moved you the most, and which artist do you believe deserves far greater appreciation today? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this tribute, please like this video, subscribe to Golden Black Legends, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story celebrating the remarkable lives and enduring legacies of black music's greatest icons.